Welcome everyone to the uh, Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. This discourse is the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Um, Patanjali is a very interesting personality in world history. He is one of the greatest sages, one of the greatest Indians that ever lived. He was a great sage, Indian sage. There's nobody in India that doesn't know Patanjali. It's like Shakespeare. It's like Muhammad, it's like Buddha, it's like Krishna, it's like Mahavira. Patanjali is among the greatest uh, humans that lived. And why is this so? Because Patanjali um, articulated, he performed, of course, practiced yoga. It's a well known name in Indian history and Indian culture. Patanjali articulated what is called the Yoga Sutras. And the Yoga Sutras describe yoga. Okay, so we're not just stretching and twisting and breathing deeply, but now we have an opportunity to we have an opportunity to gain understanding, to know exactly what we are doing. It's like a doctor who has studied pharmacy or a pharmacist who has studied medicine. So when the doctor gives you the medicine, the doctor already knows everything about the medicine. He knows the battle that is going on in your system. He knows the viruses, what they are doing, or the germs or the bacteria, what is causing you the fever, the pain, the suffering. He knows what the viral activities, bacterial activities. Uh, and then he knows how he's attacking these enemies of your system. When he gives you the the Tylenol, the ibuprofen, the Panadol, some countries like Nigeria, they call it Panadol, but okay, and the paracetamol, which is exactly what it is. So when he administers, prescribes this medicine to you and you use it, he knows clearly the activity that is going on in the war field in your system because you've been struck. The viruses, the parasites, the viruses, the germs, the bacteria, they are in there doing damage quickly. But now comes the counter army, the Tylenol comes in there, the paracetamol, the Panadol, you see, it comes there to fight. It comes there to attack and to kill the viruses. It strikes them. And this doctor, because he's done both, he's done medicine and pharmacy. So he knows the details, like a general in an army. He knows everything that is going on in the battlefield. So this is the picture of Patanjali. Patanjali practiced yoga like every other Indian sage. He was a Hindu. He worshiped God, he practiced, everything. But then he articulated them. He knew enough to be able to tell you everything, like King Solomon did in the Bible. Yes, something like that. King Solomon wrote the book of Ecclesiastes. Vanity of vanity says the perfect job, excellent. Vanity of vanity says the preacher all is right. King Solomon was born by King David and Bathsheba. He was raised, he was trained, he was in wisdom, because he was a prince of Israel to become the king. So David will make sure that he gets all the training of knowledge because he will inherit the throne from David. So Solomon was trained in wisdom, every possible wisdom available in the land of Israel. As he says later, he was well trained. He studied all wisdom, all knowledge, all arts, business, everything, you name it. King Solomon was a repository of knowledge. He knew all these things perfectly. Okay, so that's the same thing. So now Patanjali knows, he has the knowledge of everything about yoga. Just like King Solomon now gives you the book of Ecclesiastes as the philosophy of life. That's how Patanjali gives you the Yoga Sutras. Ecclesiastes is one of the tiniest books of the Bible. 12 little chapters right in the middle. I mean, I don't know whether Jews or Christians, whether they practice Solomonism, but that book is certainly right in the Bible. Everybody knows the book of Ecclesiastes. Solomon philosophized that everything in this world is vanity, very similar to Buddhist philosophy. There is emptiness. It's all vanity. Everything is passing quickly. So striving after the wind. There is nothing to be gained under the sun. Yesterday is gone. Today is gone. Tomorrow is gone. It's all disappearing. It all goes into our memories. We now become like computers, storing memories after memories after memories. The days are not visible. Where is today? It doesn't exist. Where was yesterday? They don't exist. Yesterday only goes back to my memory. I can only remember yesterday. It's not tangible. Today is disappearing. I can't do anything about it. It's just recording in my memory as if it's a playback video or something. This is what Solomon is saying in the Bible. It's all vanity. You can't hold it. You can't stop today. You can't stop tomorrow. Yesterday disappeared already. So what shall we do? He said he's going to enjoy his life. That's all he's going to do. And he did. He said he's going to enjoy. He's going to eat and drink and have fun in his life. He's going to work very hard, but he's going to really enjoy his life. That's what King Solomon declared as the solution to life. Since there is nothing I can't hold back today, I can't hold tomorrow, I can't stop the moving of time or the clock or the days. It's all recording in my memory as if it's a video. Therefore, I'm just going to enjoy my life. That's Solomon's decision. So he had fun. He ate and drank wine and had thousands of wives. The Bible says he has 700 princesses and 300 concubines. He had 1,000 wives. He was a wealthy king of Israel, like a billionaire today. Solomon was very rich. That's why they don't try to. That's why there's really no Solomonism, because King Solomon was so great. I mean, nobody can start marrying 1,000 wives. It's very hard to follow Solomon. You better be a billionaire if you're going to marry 1,000 wives. So King Solomon was very wealthy, just enjoyed his life. Even though you don't have to be a billionaire, you can follow Solomon on small levels. I'm sort of a Solomonite in that sense, because I believe in enjoying my life. I'm making the best out of my life, like Solomon expressed in the book of Ecclesiastes. Not going loose to marrying 1,000 wives. I don't. Nowadays we don't do that. But the enjoyment of life is important. So King Solomon stressed out, to us that life, he highlighted, life should be enjoyed. There's nothing you can do about time. Time is going to pass. Today is going to pass. Yesterday passed. Tomorrow is going to pass. You can't stop the movement of time. You can't do that. But you can enjoy your life. You can decide. You can determine what you are going to do about these things that you cannot control. I cannot control time. I can't handle, I'm not a magician. I can't stop the movement. I can't command the sunshine. Say, today stop. All clocks stop. I can't do that, right? But I certainly can enjoy my life. This is what King Solomon declared. Okay? So once we understand Solomon, we understand what he's talking about, how to manage ourselves in this life. These are some of the greatest personalities. This is exactly how Patanjali is. Patanjali is telling you about yoga. It's not just saying how you stretch your hands back and front and bend your head back and front and breathe in and breathe in and breathe out. But he's telling you a little bit more. He's telling you the depth, what the yoga is. I want to know more. I want to understand what I'm doing. I just want to be like a dummy. Stretch your hands. Stretch up, stretch back. A zombie, a robot. Stretch back, straight front. Back, front, center. You feel better? Bye-bye. So they are intellectuals. They are brilliant people who want to do a little bit more. And I think this is where the great sage Patanjali really comes into play. Patanjali comes into play because Patanjali goes ahead to describe the Yoga Sutras, and he tells you a lot about what yoga actually is. He wants you to understand. He doesn't want you to be a visitor, a stranger to the process of yoga. As I said, it's not a zombie thing. Patanjali wants you to get an understanding of what is going on here. I want you to know what is pain. Why does something bite me in the leg and bite me under the arm? What is pain? What is the meaning of pain? See, he wants you to know what is going on. What is pain? Why do I feel pain? A sharp pain somewhere. Ouch. That hurts, right? Why is that so? See, Patanjali is going into the philosophy. He's going to let you know why is pain. Okay? Why is there pain? Why is there stress? People become stressed. They have tension, headache, stress. They go crazy. So he goes in depth to give you the analysis of what is going on. And then he tells you how to free yourself, like the bird that flies away from the cage. Because the bird learned the trick. He saw where they put the the little thing where they tied up this stuff. So it jerked it open and flew out. That's all that Patanjali is teaching you. So if you pay attention, you concentrate, you can understand what is going on perfectly. If I feel pain in my body, I can understand why that is so. By the time you finish studying these 200 verses of Patanjali, slightly under 200, you will understand why you feel pains. You will have a clear understanding why there is suffering, why there is pain, why there is stress. Then you understand that that should not be what you should be experiencing. You now understand how to flash the torchlight of your mind away from those negative things, how to keep your light on the positive aspects of life. That everybody has the negative aspects of life. I'm not just going to be a negativist and spend the rest of my life highlighting negative things that have happened. That's a stupid person doing that right there. Totally stupid. You have the choices. Everybody on this earth has negatives and positives. So what you don't want to do is to spend the rest of your life highlighting negatives. Stupidity. That's all that is. Stupidity. No gain, no gain. Poison my tea, drink it and die. That's all that is. Useless. Right? Like King Solomon did. Exactly. Solomon said, look at the problems. Just look at what this life is. Look at the days are fleeting. He doesn't like the days fleeting and then at the end I'm going to fall down and die. That's what Solomon wrote in the Bible. How the wise man dies just like the fool. So I hated life because everything that was done under the sun was grievous to me, for all is vanity and is striving after the wind, and there is nothing to be gained under the sun. Read your Ecclesiastes. So Solomon wasn't impressed that everything is flying away, it's not under his control, but he wasn't going to be negative over that. He decided to take a positive stance. All right, now that I cannot control the time, I can't control the clock, I can't control the rising of the sun and the setting of the sun, I can't deal with any of those, well, I can manage myself. King Solomon came back to self-management, like Patanjali is talking about and has done. Well, I can handle myself in all these things. Like, I don't know all the external things of the world going on. I don't know about it. I can't stop all of those. But hey, I can handle myself. So King Solomon came and handled himself. What I'm going to do, I'm going to enjoy my life. I'm not going to take my flashlight in my mind and flash it to negative things that are happening, because it's my flashlight. I'm going to take my flashlight in my mind and flash it to all the beautiful things and all the positive things that are going on, so that I may be happy because I am a wise man. That's why King Solomon is called the wisest king of Israel, because he is. So he took the flashlight in his mind. Instead of flashing it to all the negative things that have gone wrong in life, he flashed them to the positive things that are going on in life. That's a brilliant way to live. So that's what King Solomon did. You see? So he started enjoying himself and doing all the job. He abandoned all the negative things and found pleasure. He said, I got singers, musicians, throw parties, let us celebrate and be happy about life. So they were celebrating life and they were happy about life. He married his wife. He said, enjoy life, enjoy life with the wife you love all the days of your vain life, right? Read all the Ecclesiastes. He said, go eat your bread with enjoyment and drink your wine with a merry heart, for God has already approved what you do. Let your garments be always white. Let not oil be lacking in your head. Solomon said all this. Enjoy life with the wife you love all the days of your vain life, because this is your lot in life. If you don't do that, you just perish, So these are brilliant observations. This is the kind of thing that this great Indian sage Patanjali did. I'm going to zoom into this part 3 and read quickly through. So you're not going to ask me any questions. I'm just going to go through quickly, and then at the end, we'll try to summarize again, because you already understood. I used the philosophy of Solomon to try to show you what is going on as you meditate, so that I can have a deep understanding of what is, going on, what the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali is, and how to work with it, how to use it to manage your life, to the best of your capabilities. One-pointed concentration is the focus of the mind on precisely one point or one precise object. Meditation is the unceasing flow of reasoning and understanding towards the one-pointed concentration. Enlightenment is when the mind is completely void of all forms and all senses, and only the point of focus is radiant. The three jointly practice maintaining one point of concentration is self-restraint, self-conquest. Through self-conquest comes divine knowledge and understanding. Self-conquest gained is employed in degrees, one phase after another. These three are at a closer distance than those preceding, yet they are exterior to the objectless or seedless enlightenment. The important facet is the fusion of the mind with just the instant of self-conquest of absolute self-control. When all thoughts arising vanish and perfect self-control reigns, a serene stream of consciousness arises from the perfect self-control. The fall of distractions, no longer getting ensnared by every happening thing, and the rise of concentration, one-pointed focus, and absolute mindfulness is the enlightening transformation of the mind. The mind attains its one-pointed state when the meandering streams of reason, past and present, falling and rising, are precisely alike. By these are expounding the special transformations of appearance, time, and condition in tiny elements, large elements, and sense organs. The object is that which justifies the appearance of the falling past, the arisen present, and the unknown future. The succession of changes in the sequence is why we have succession of changes in the transformations. By self-discipline and self-restraint regarding the three kinds of transformations, knowledge of the past and the future may be gained. Naturally, there is the confusion which arises when the idea expressed as a word, the sound made when the word is uttered, and the object of reference when the word is uttered are all taken as one and precisely the same thing. Through self-discipline and self-restraint regarding their unique differences comes insight and clear understanding of so many languages and sounds uttered by all living beings. By self-mastery and self-discipline regarding perception and penetration of ideas and intuition, knowledge is gained of one's previous lives. Through insight and direct observation of the thoughts and feelings of a person comes knowledge of that person's mind state. That knowledge, however, does not have for focus the thoughts, feelings, and basic support of the stream of thoughts and feelings. This is because the focus here is simply not there in the other person's mind. Through self-discipline and self-restraint of the appearance of the body, through disruption of perceptibility and the detachment of radiance comes invisibility. Karma, that is, action, exists in two categories. Fruitful now, in other words, bearing fruits now, or fruitful later, that is, bearing fruits later. By self-mastery or self-discipline, one gains even knowledge of extinction. By practicing self-discipline and self-restraint regarding friendships and friendliness, great strength and powers arise. By self-mastery, self-discipline over any category of powers, such as the powers of elephants or infinite and boundless powers, the yogi gains all these powers. Through self-mastery, self-discipline, and concentrating the radiance within on any material thing, knowledge is gained regarding its fine and complex, concealed or secret, and remote qualities. By self-discipline, concentrating on the sun and its studies, knowledge of the universe is gained. By self-discipline, concentrating on the moon and its studies, knowledge of the stellar system, in other words, the system of stars, is gained. By self-discipline, concentrating on the pole star and it studies knowledge of movement, in other words, the motion of the stellar bodies or simply the stars, is gained. By self-discipline, concentrating on the navel and it studies knowledge of the body and its constituents, is gained. By self-discipline, concentrating on the trachea and it studies the power that overcomes hunger and thirst, is gained. By self-discipline and self-mastery, concentrating on the corba nerve, highlight that, and it studies bodily poise and calm, is gained. By self-discipline and self-mastery, concentrating on the headlight and it studies clear vision, is gained of perfected beings. Through spiritual awakening and insight comes manifold achievements and boundless knowledge, omniscience. By self-discipline and self-mastery, concentrating on the heart, and it studies divine wisdom, is achieved, and enlightenment on all mind matters. Enlightenment on all mind matters. Life's events or happenings are experienced the way they are because of our own perception impairment problems. We cannot easily distinguish between the qualities and characteristics of vital existence and the indwelling divine. Both are certainly different, of course, but perfect knowledge of the indwelling divine is gained through self-discipline and self-mastery. And then there is the natural awakening. This enlightenment comes as inner clarity, clear perception in the sensory fields of seeing and hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching. These organs of the senses are wonderful perfections to the mind of the worldly person, but are great hindrances on the path of enlightenment. By loosening the causes of attachment and bondage to the flesh, the mind of the yogi, empowered by the knowledge of the functioning of the currents of the nerve, may enter any flesh of choice. I take it again. By loosening the causes of attachment and bondage to the flesh, the mind of the yogi, empowered by the knowledge of the functioning of the currents of the nerve, may enter any flesh of choice. By self-discipline and self-mastery, concentrating on the nerve currents while employing vital deep breathing, a yogi may walk on water like Jesus did. Walk on thorns, walk on blades, walk on mud and swamps, and levitate. By self-discipline and self-mastery, concentrating on vital breath and its renewal, a yogi may beam in glistening light, just like the sun, sunlight or sunshine. By self-discipline and self-mastery, concentrating on the ear and the ether and their studies, remote hearing, in other words, transcendental or divine hearing, is achieved. By self-discipline and self-mastery, concentrating on the body and the ether and their studies, penetrating simultaneously the idea of the lightness of very light matter like cotton, space travel is accomplished. By self-discipline and self-mastery, concentrating on the mind and its studies, as it stays detached from the flesh, the yogi advances to a state commonly called great disembodiment, in which the obstacle concealing the light beaming within collapses and fades away. By self-discipline and self-mastery, concentrating on gross, massive, and complex appearance, and investigating all the way down to small, tiny, fine appearance, and concluding with the superfine, enlightenment is gained. and thus arises manifold powers and capabilities. A yogi may become as small as an atom and do many wonderful things. He can preserve and perfect the body and make its constituents indestructible. Beauty, grace, vitality, and a firm and resolute vigor are manifestations of perfection. The perfection of the body. By self-discipline and self-mastery, concentrating on the sense organs and investigating their facilities for perception, fundamental appearance, constitution, and many powers of ego and egoism, and their manifold qualities and influences, the yogi gains conquest over all senses. And now comes the advanced state. Having exceptional mind speed, liberation of perception, and freedom from all senses, mastery over the self and all material existence. The yogi who investigates and discovers the clear connection between active vital powers and the divine indweller advances towards omnipotence, omnipresence, and omniscience. Having extirpated the roots of attachment, all attachment, and their complicated snares, by the practice of abandonment and desirelessness, the yogi advances towards perfect liberation and freedom. The yogi, however, should not become charmed, attached, or flattered by the overtures and pleasantries of heavenly beings, as that could lead into the evil paths of ignorance again, want of knowledge, with many undesirable consequences. I repeat this once, very important. I want you to highlight everything in that place. The yogi, however, should not become charmed, attached, or flattered by the overtures and pleasantries of heavenly beings, as that could lead onto the evil paths of ignorance again, want of knowledge, and many undesirable consequences. So you should not be arrogant. Don't be proud because you've attained a degree of enlightenment. You want to stay humble. And don't let people flatter you that, this is the whole idea. By self-discipline and self-mastery, concentrating on time, an instant of time, and the motion of time, the yogi gains divine wisdom through investigation and analysis. Then comes a thorough grasp of the distinction between subtle objects, highly similar entities, which cannot normally be investigated and analyzed by classification, quality, or attribute, and location. Insight arising from untiring investigative and analytic effort connects always to all entities. This knowledge is a special and conclusive knowledge. This knowledge is special and conclusive. When the impeccable states of the active vital energy and the divine indweller become equal, the yogi achieves liberation, ultimate freedom. That concludes part 3. I had to go through it very quickly because I didn't want to take any further time to analyze. We just have to get these things done quickly because it's for your reflection and your meditation. So you have to go back to your, to your study, your private study, your temple of peace, and reflect and meditate on these deep truths unveiled by the great Indian sage Patanjali. So, and when you do this, you begin to gain. It's like climbing a ladder, little by little. Patanjali is bringing you up to this state that the Buddha calls enlightenment. You begin to practice every day, and then you begin to advance every day, and then you become enlightened. You now understand what is going on. Okay, I know what's going on. We're not just a mass of flesh. They die and then are buried into the grave. That's not what we are, body and soul. And the opportunity of this life, the reason why we are here is for that private personal schooling that we all must do. So the opportunity of this life is to school, is to study. Study yourself, the study of the self. And then you gain enlightenment. You come to your own yoga as a yogi. You understand the relationship between your body and your soul. Your body is your soul and your soul is your body. Sort of. You kind of understand what is going on. It's just visible and invisible, and invisible and visible. You start as visible, you begin to penetrate into the invisible. You now understand that there's really not much difference between them. They say, no, the body is dead. After 100 years, we die. Well, yes, we die and we do not die. This is body and soul. When you now understand your soul, you now see the body of your soul and the soul of your body. See, you begin to understand that you are deathless because you are deathless. You see, ignorance is not good. Knowledge is power. So why we practice yoga is to sit in that meditation and begin to really see yourself and begin to separate and understand the two parts. So the reason why we live in this world is to get an understanding of the higher self, the soul. Once you get an understanding, nothing else really matters. You just self-management. I do yoga every day. I wake up, I do my deep breathing first, then I stretch, then I twist, then I pump my stomach. I eat a lot of sugars. I drink Coca-Cola, I drink Sprite. So I make sure that my stomach does not get big. I make sure I attack all the kidneys, attack all the livers, attack everything in the stomach to make sure that all the organs of the stomach are well massaged and they function every blessed. Every day I pound on my stomach. You have to do these things. It's called exercise. Just have to do what you have to do. Okay? So when you finish your exercise, some people do treadmill, some people jog around the city, some do all kinds. In yoga, we have fast yogas and slow ones. Don't just think yoga is a lousy, lazy exercise for lazy people who just sit down there. No. You don't know the yoga. So there are super speed yoga. There are yogas that are super active. I do all these things every blessed day, And so it's self-management. You manage yourself to infinity, to the boundless state, to the immortal. You now understand that we are gods. John chapter 10, verse 34, as Jesus rightly told us in the Bible. Patanjali showing us how to attain the godhood, how to attain it. By your reasoning, right reasoning, as Buddha says, right practice. So when you practice your yoga, you know what is going on. The reason why we have this body is to graduate from body to spirit. The spirit is as real as the body is. When you come to meditation, you're able to see the body of the spirit. I can see the body of my spirit. I see the body of my body and the body of my spirit. So I know I am immortal. I will live 1 million years, 1 billion years. It's so with everybody, but you might be ignorant because you are not sitting in meditation. You are blind. You are not seeing. So when you sit in meditation, you see the body of the body and the body of the spirit. There are two of them. And you develop, this life is an opportunity. The reason why you're living here is to gain the opportunity to sit quietly in meditation. Jesus Christ says, go and lock the door of your room and communicate with your heavenly Father who sees in spirit. And your heavenly Father who sees in spirit will reward you with eternal life. I'd like to add to what Jesus Christ was telling them in the Sermon on the Mount. Same thing. All the great teachers are saying the same thing. But many people don't practice. They don't want to practice. Sit down quietly in your inner room. And, use this opportunity of life to understand the body of the body and the body of the spirit is real. And now you understand that you are immortal. It's just an understanding that you gain by study because you studied it. Those people who don't study, they just leave themselves to ignorance. They perish like the swines in the forest. And there's nothing anybody can do about it. So I leave you to go into your meditation and do the rest of the job. Cheers. Enjoy. Have a pleasant day, blessed day.